Good evening. As a preliminary matter, this is John Regan, Chair of the Auburn Planning Board. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Ron Brooks.
Aye.
Scott Wren. Nicholas Lynch.
Aye.
Steve Chambers.
Aye.
Town official and employees participating. When I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Town planner Adam Menard.
Here.
Staff assistant Rachel Pressey.
Present.
DDIS director Darlene Coyle.
Here.
Good evening. This open meeting of the Town Auburn Planning Board of Tuesday, August 18, 2020, now called to order at 7 p.m. This meeting is being conducted remotely, consistent with the Governor Baker's Executive Order March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the Governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of the public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting on the town's website, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, Planning Board is convening by remote participation for the public only. Although some members of the Planning Board are physically located in the Selectman's office, meeting room at Town Hall, those members and employees were practicing social distancing in accordance with the Governor's orders. For the public to join the meeting remotely by telephone, call 1-312-757-3121 and enter access code 1-33747-477. Or the public can join via computer at the gotomeeting.com/join/133747477. Remote access information has been posted on the town's website identifying how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded by the Auburn Cable Television. Accordingly, those members of the Planning Board, employees, members of the public who participate, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and please take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Meeting materials. All supporting materials that have been provided to the members of this body are available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. Meeting business and ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, the chair of the board, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Please remember to speak clearly in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and to state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in discussion with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. After members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment as follows. The chair will ask members of the public who wish to speak, identify their names and addresses only. Once the chair has a list of all public commentators, I will call on each by name and afford 3 minutes for any comments. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. If technical difficulties arise, chair suspends meeting, will attempt to make a resolution. And now we can continue. First on the agenda is the A&R 8 on Commonwealth Ave. I have to ask for a motion to open the hearing, right? No. Do I have any comments? Is anyone here from 8 Commonwealth Ave? There is none.
to the chair, the A&R was pretty straightforward. It fits all the zoning bylaws, so in my mind, there was not any question about it.
I didn't have a problem with it, so do any of the members of the board have comments? Scott?
No comments, John.
Wendy? Ron?
No.
Nick? Or Steve?
No comments, John.
So I need a motion to make a vote to accept or to approve.
John, I'll make the motion to approve.
Is that Nick?
This is Nick. Yep. Ryan, I'll second that.
And that was Nick or Steve?
Yes. Nick.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye. Scott Wren?
Aye.
Wendy Steinhilber? Ron Brooks?
Aye.
Nicholas Lynch?
Aye.
Steve Chambers?
Aye.
And I, John Regan, vote aye. It is a vote. 7 o'clock, applicant LMS LLC DBA Mosquito Squad request for site plan approval under section 3.2.5.7 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for property at 496 Washington Street, Auburn, Mass., map 57, parcel 135. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion, John.
That was Ron Brooks. Do I have a second?
Steve Chambers, second.
All those in favor? Scott Wren?
Aye.
Ron Brooks?
Aye.
Nicholas Lynch?
Aye.
Steve Chambers?
Aye.
And myself, John Regan, aye. Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone here from the Mosquito Squad that would like to explain what they want to do out there on Route 20 on Washington Street?
Yeah, Corey Broder here from Leonard Engineering, representing the Mosquito Squad, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
So also, Chris Boise and David Macchia, I believe, are also on the line, representing Mosquito Squad. And so the proposed use is for a Mosquito Squad, a business or controlled mosquitoes and pests. The existing use is an auto retail and detailing business. We're proposing line striping for 20 spaces where 17 are calculated as required. The business is going to act as a hub for their mosquito control operations, where they're expected 15 employees, where they would park their vans at the site overnight, and in the morning their personal vehicles would take the place, so they'd have to shuffle their cars in and out every day. So I did have a discussion with the Greg Moran from the fire department on this one, and he said that their only requirements were to have unobstructed access to the site, and that they would have no issue, any fire they could fight with ladders. So as long as they can get into the site off of 20. They'll place a new sign in the same location where the existing sign is, that's about all we're proposing. They'll stripe the new parking spaces.
Okay, does anybody on the board have any comments?
John, could you ask them to just describe what else it might be near? I'm just wondering exactly where it is.
Sure. This is next to the Goddard School. It's right
Oh, okay. All right.
to the west of the Goddard School, to the east of Tiny Tim's.
Yes. Okay.
3 doors down from Cumberland Farms. On the left.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Chair, what's the easement on the eastern side of the property?
Could you repeat that, Scott? I didn't get that. Please identify yourself.
Sure. Is Scott Wren. There's an easement on the eastern side of the property. Is that in to pass and repass? Is there a fence there? I believe there's a fence right up against that easement, isn't there?
Mr. Chair, I can answer that, Corey, again. You're talking about it's a 5-foot wide easement, 4-foot wide.
Yep.
5-foot wide easement on the east side it's a sightline easement that was put there. I believe this was originally the Goddard School's first location. I think it was put in there. It was in land court, the documents on it, but what I found, it was some sort of sightline easement, so they can't put anything in there, in that easement.
Okay. And one more, how much, is there any customer access to this, or is this just employees and they're going to be going out on the road all day?
So this is not open to the public. Yeah, it's act as a hub there, where they'll go off to their jobs in the morning and from wherever they come and wherever they're going. That's all. But there is an accessible space that will be there. It's just it won't be all open to the public.
All right, I don't love the first parking spot right when you go in. It seems like if people are coming in off 20, sometimes they cross right through. They don't take a perfect 90-degree angle. But if there's not the public coming in, I'm not overly concerned about it.
Okay.
Anyone else on the board? Being no further comment, I have a couple of questions myself. In the north end of the site, where you show the 9 by 18, 18 and a half employee spaces, those look like they're stacked. So someone in the front would have to move for the person inside to get, I don't know if that qualifies as a legal parking space or not. Something I have to ask them for.
Well, through the chair, Mr. Corley didn't have any comments on the site plan.
This is Chris Boise representing Mosquito Squad. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep. So after kind of going through this process and looking at, the facilities and stuff, we're really looking to park about 6 service trucks here at this property now. So there'd be about 6, service trucks and probably like 10 employees to alleviate some of that congestion with the parking. And these are really depots. So our main hub, our main facility is out of Fitchburg. And then we're kind of locating these depots throughout Massachusetts within our footprint. So we're in Ashland. We'd like to be in Auburn. We're in Chelmsford, Fitchburg, Topsfield. And they all have about the same, about 6 to 8 trucks.
Okay, that is,
And like you said in the beginning, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
And like you were saying in the beginning, we're not open to the public. It is seasonal. So we'd only be operating the facility from really April through October. Maybe a manager on site during the winter, but we only treat our customers May through September. And the employees would be coming in the morning in their personal vehicle, changing into their uniform, loading their service truck, and going out for the day, and then returning at the end of the day and doing the opposite.
You don't do any snow plowing in the winter?
We do not know. I mean, we would maintain the lot during the winter, but we don't do any snow plowing with the trucks anymore during the winter. That's correct.
And that existing shed, is that yours or is that someone else's in the existing easement in the north section of the plant?
I think Corey might be able to answer that better than.
So the easement is, they have access to that easement from Auburn Gardens back there at the LSC.
So it's a shed?
It's called a playground easement. Like I said, I think it was the Goddard School's property at the time from a playground in there, but it's granted to the 496 Washington Street property. It drops off quite a bit on the back of that. It definitely looks like it was intended for this property.
So who uses the shed? The only reason I ask is it's over the easement line.
Yeah. If you go to the site, it's intended for 496 it's connected to this site that was used. I mean, I don't know if previous owner used it or not, but it's intended to be used for this site.
It's intended to be used for your site?
Steve Macchia, with Mosquito Squad. From the looks of that shed, it looks like it's been there for quite a few years. You know, I think it's been a fixture there over the past several owners, but I think the owner said that he believed that it was, you know, there when he purchased the building originally, and we don't really have much more information than that about the shed, other than it's there and it's sitting in that location.
Is it going to be
It's been
utilized by you?
We don't have plans for it.
Any other comments from the board or from the public? There being none, may I have a motion to close the hearing?
Steve Chambers, I'll make that motion.
May I have a second?
Ronnie Brooks, I'll second it.
All those in favor of approving the site plan as is?
Close the hearing first.
Oh, the hearing is closed.
Vote to close it.
What's that?
Get a vote to close it.
Oh, yeah, that's right, you got to vote to close. So, all that are voting to close the hearing, Scott,
Aye.
Ron,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
and myself, John Regan, aye. Do I have a motion to approve the plan as is, as presented?
Scott Wren, so moved.
Do I have a second?
Steve Chambers, second.
All those in favor? Scott Wren,
Aye.
Ron Brooks,
Aye.
Nicholas Lynch,
Aye.
Steve Chambers,
Aye.
and myself, John Regan, aye. It is a vote. Good luck with your business. I hope you prosper well.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Guys, good luck.
Next up at the 7:05 is the applicant Scott Paul, Southbridge Street Investments LLC, requesting site plan approval under section 3.2.5.7 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for a corrosion engineering firm on the property located at 200 Southbridge Street, Auburn, Mass., map 18, parcel 36. This isn't a public hearing, right? It is?
Motion off.
Could I have a motion to open the public hearing, please?
Steve Chambers, I'll
I'll
make that
make that
motion.
motion, John.
Could I have a second?
Steve Chambers, second.
All those in favor? Scott Wren,
Aye.
Ron Brooks,
Aye.
Nicholas Lynch,
Aye.
Steve Chambers,
Aye.
myself, John Regan, aye. So, anyone representing this lot and this plan to put a business in there on Southbridge Street, is anyone present?
Yes, my name's Scott Paul. I'm the owner of Cortec. I'm the applicant. And so we've submitted the plans and some waiver requests for use of this building as is to set up consulting engineering business at this location.
So is there anything that you're gonna do to the lot other than maybe spruce it up a little or to the facade of the building or with lighting?
I'm proposing to use the building as it sits. There's some definition of parking spaces. They're not very well defined at this time. So we've indicated that on the plans that we've submitted.
along with a dumpster location. But the building is set up so I can use it at this time, and move the operation in there. We plan to, as part of this sale and acquisition, the lot, all the stuff that you see is intended to be cleaned up and gone inside the building and outside the building.
How many people are going to be working in this building?
There's 11 people that work currently in the location that I'm in. Most of the time now, especially now, there's 2, 3, 4 people in the office. That's about it. Typically, most of the technicians and engineers are out on project sites in Boston or New Hampshire, Rhode Island, wherever they may be. And so they're not in the office normally. But if everybody was there, it'd be 11 people. And there's 4 vehicles, 4 company vehicles.
Do we have an idea how many parking spaces are needed for a lot this size? Because they're showing 8, 15.
I think your bylaw calls for a lot.
On that, being that it's not my understanding it's not going to be for customers or anything.
No public coming in and out of the building, sir?
No, we're not retail at all. But we don't even have clients come to see us.
You don't have anybody dropping off samples of pipe or metal to be, have the test done on it for corrosion?
No, well, we get deliveries from UPS, FedEx, that kind of stuff. Because part of this building, or most of this building, will be for some of the materials and supplies that we use. We reassemble and fabricate some specialized component for use on various jobs. So we get delivery of those products. But people don't come to our job, to this site, to see us rarely.
So it'd just be
We
mainly
go to
supply deliveries and your employees?
Excuse me?
It would just mainly be supply deliveries and your employees?
Yes.
Does anyone on the board have any comments?
Mr. Chair, it's Steve Chambers. On the plan, spaces 12 through 15, are they behind, or would they be behind a fence that's currently there?
I'd like to leave that fence up, yes. And I can add more on the end. There's plenty of space here to add 2 or 4 more spaces if I wanted to, but I'd like to leave the fence on the property.
So, again, it doesn't actually show on here. Where does that fence end up in regards to space 15? Is it much further than that, or are they driving around it?
I think it probably goes out 2 more spaces, so maybe 20 more feet towards the north.
Okay, and that area behind the fence, is that currently paved?
It is. It's full of junk, though.
Okay.
It's full of old signs.
So when you had mentioned, when you had mentioned that this fence goes a few more out, would you be looking to add spaces next to space 11 on the front of that, or this is the plan you'd propose and keep that fence there? Or are you looking to modify that as well?
I'm proposing to leave the fence, and if I needed to put in a couple more spaces, there would be 2 front to front like that, moving, being added to the north.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I'm through with the questions. Thank you.
Anyone else on the board have any questions? Being none, is there anyone from the public that would like to ask a question or address this potential business? Being none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion, Jim.
May I have a second?
I'll second Scott Wren.
All those in favor? Scott?
Aye.
Ron Brooks?
Aye.
Nicholas Lynch?
Aye.
Steve Chambers?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, aye. May I have a motion to approve the plan as shown?
I'll make that motion, John.
Thank you, Ron. May I have a second?
Scott Wren, I'll second.
All those in favor? Scott Wren?
Aye.
Ron Brooks?
Aye.
Nicholas Lynch?
Aye.
Steve Chambers?
Aye.
And myself, aye. It is a vote, and so approved. You're all set.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Next on the agenda is applicant Eastland Partners, Incorporated, request for site plan approval under section 3.2.2.1 and 5.4 of the Auburn zoning bylaw for a two-family dwelling on the property located at 28-30 Albert Street, Auburn, Mass., map 65, parcel 70. I have a motion to open the public hearing.
Oh, we don't need a motion.
Anyone on this one? Okay.
That's been continued, and I'm not seeing them in attendance. So if it's the board's pleasure to continue this to the next meeting on September 8th, that'd be terrific.
Could I have a motion to postpone this or continue this till the September 8th meeting?
Ron Brooks, I'll make the motion.
May I have a second?
Scott Wren, I'll make that second.
All those in favor? Scott Wren,
Aye.
Ron Brooks,
Aye.
Steve Chambers,
Aye.
Nicholas Lynch,
Aye.
myself, John Regan, aye. It will be continued. Next on the list, we have applicant from SZLL Realty LLC, a definitive subdivision plan for a 13-lot, single-family home development on the property located at 178 Hampton Street and 19 Eaton Avenue, map 12, parcel 120. This has been continued from 7/21/2020. Is there anyone here representing SZLL Realty?
Mr. Chairman, this is Donald O'Neill. I'm a lawyer for the applicant. I have an office at 688 Pleasant Street in Worcester. Also, I believe should be on the line are Joseph Graham, who's done the engineering, and also Robert O'Neill, who's done the survey work. You got through the agenda pretty quick, so I'm not sure whether they're on or not, but we had presented, this has been continued a number of times. There was a plan, some extensive plan work to the plan, basically kind of revising some of the grading on the site. I know was prepared and was submitted, I believe, towards the end of last week, and I would expect that that's probably gone to Graves Engineering. I'm not sure whether, wouldn't expect that probably they would have an opportunity to review it, you know, in the sense then basically to report back. But I guess if Joe Graham is here, I would ask him to kind of just summarize, you know, for the board, you know, what's been done and what in response to the previous comments that he had received. But if he's not here, then I guess I would say that probably it would make sense to continue to your next meeting to allow Graves additional time to complete their review and report back to us with any comments that they might have.
Don O'Neill, this is Joe Graham. I am on. So
oh, yeah, sure. Okay. All right. Yeah.
The revisions.
Okay.
So I'll just talk about a few of the sticking points that Graves and I have gone back and forth on, and the revisions that we made since in this current plan. So this current plan set, we revised the grading by changing the roadway profile. Before it was at a 1% slope all the way through the bulb. At this point, we've revised it to a 2%, lowering the end of the cul-de-sac, reducing some of the grading in the area because the wetlands are in that rear portion of the lot. So trying to stay away from that area. We've also revised the drainage. There was several of the manholes had step manholes for the sewer line, and we've revised the drainage to avoid. There was a tree, a large tree that we were planning to avoid. So we revised the drainage and the sewer connection actually to avoid this tree, and reduce a lot of the pipe slopes as well as the drop manholes that were originally proposed. And the other largest portion of the changes were there's 3 existing frontage lots, and because of lowering the roadway cul-de-sac, it didn't make feasible sense to have the sewer connections for those houses continue to be in the rear of the lots. So we've eliminated those, and the applicant has actually asked to take those out of the subdivision because those were really never part of the cul-de-sac subdivision roadway. Those were just frontage lots that we were tying into our system via the sewer line, so we wanted to propose it all together. However, because that's no longer feasible for the proposed sewer line having extremely steep slopes, we'll have to, if the applicant intends on building those, he'll have to, at that time, provide site plans for those separate. So those are the main points. We're still keeping the entrance to the proposed detention basin off Vesper Street, how we had before. We're still proposing one sidewalk along the roadway and ending cul-de-sac, and so those are the main changes from the previous iteration of the plan.
So the lots being eliminated are 6, 7, and 8. Is 9 and 10 and 11 being eliminated as well?
Yeah, those are the ones along Hampton Street that always throughout the previous plan sets had been accessed and via Hampton Street. They're just being eliminated because prior they were tied in via the proposed sewer line where we'd have to provide an easement along the rear of their lots. But because the sewer line profile would be too steep as we come down to that cul-de-sac, that it didn't make sense to tie them to the subdivision anymore.
So I just want to make sure I have the right lots. 6, 7, 8, 9, what about 10 through 13? Are those staying?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so 9 through 6 are being eliminated.
7, 8. No, we intend on keeping lot 9. Lot 9's at the cul-de-sac, so that house will be fronting on the cul-de-sac. 9, correct? So that will be staying, and it will just be
that gonna be the access to the house too? Is from the new road, Road A?
So those 6, 7, and 8 will be accessed via Hampton Street.
Right, but they're being eliminated, correct?
Correct, from the subdivision plan.
The remaining lots on that side of the road, they're all being accessed from the roadway that goes to the cul-de-sac, correct?
Correct.
And this is Graves now, Adam?
Not yet.
Not yet?
No, I did request the engineer and the applicant if they were going to, if they had an updated stormwater report or if they had response to the Graves letter to provide to Graves.
Okay, we'll make sure you get that. I'm calling in my phone because I've had bad access with my computer, so I'll make sure you get that.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Does that mean no site work is going to take place on those 3 sites?
I'm sure they'll probably use it for storage of loam and gravel or whatever. Oh, it's being used.
Yeah, at this point, the applicant's not sure what he wants to do with those sites. If he does intend on doing them as he'll have to submit a separate site plan, and obviously that would be ended up in conjunction. Part of why originally we showed them together. However,
So I would imagine that changes all the calculations on all the drainage and everything that's been done.
it changes some of the existing. Yeah, you're correct. It doesn't change a lot of the proposed closed system as far as piping and catch basins because that is limited to the cul-de-sac roadway. But it does change some of the areas and the hydrology of the models.
Yeah, you'll have.
Okay, and that's all been revised?
Yes, I should have been sent out. I'm going to check on why it wasn't and make sure you guys get a copy.
Okay, thank you.
Being the elimination of those 3 lots, it means you're gonna have more pervious area instead of less pervious area, correct?
Correct. So there would be more undisturbed area as part of this subdivision.
Well, we'll ask the question, is it gonna be undisturbed, or they can possibly use that for storage, for like when they strip the site for loam, store their gravel there before they put it in the road, pipe, all that stuff?
You shouldn't need to. Those lots are higher up, and actually, when they get built, there'll be fill. Obviously, that would have to be brought in for the grading for those, because it does drop off in that area. So I believe he'll tackle those separately.
Does anyone else on the board have any comments?
John, it's Ronnie. A question I have is it when you come up Eaton Ave and you approach the last house on the left, how do you propose to keep runoff from coming down onto the side of their house with that big piece of ledges and stone?
So the proposed roadway has granite curbing on both sides of it coming through. There is a catch basin at the front of at the entrance to the proposed road, and using the granite curbing and also the roadway profile is sloping downward into the cul-de-sac to help eliminate those issues.
Yeah, because we can't have it that it directs water onto that property.
Correct.
So I am assuming that all drainage is kept on the lot and goes out to the drainage area that you're gonna make in lot 16?
Yeah, so the drainage areas have been updated to reflect, I guess, the reduced project scope.
I'm looking at the grading plan now, and I'm a little concerned as Mr. Brooks was. I mean, the grades behind the houses, it's hard to read the plan, but. Contour elevations on the upper part of the page. You used to have 1, 5, 7, 5, 6, 8. And another one, I don't see another, taking all the way down to 530. So that's telling me everything slopes toward that low point right there at 530.
Mr. Chair, I don't know if other people are having difficulty. It's hard for me to hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit.
I can't hear John either.
Okay. So, on the side of Road A toward the top of the page, can everybody hear that?
Yep. Thank you.
I'm having difficulty finding elevations for the contour lines. I see one, and then it goes from there to 530, which is downhill from 568 and 570. So my concern is where Lot 1 is, that goes down to the adjoining lot, or up at the corner here. I mean, this is all heading down the hill. I don't know what's containing that from keeping it from going into the next lot, unless these contours toward the top of the page actually go up, but there's no elevation on it, so I can't really tell what it does. It's pretty incomplete. Anyone representing the realty company have anything to say, the engineer? Or we lost their connection?
Yeah, no, this is Don O'Neill. I'm still here, but I would, that really is a question for Joe. I don't know if we lost him or, he's not responding, so I think we must have lost him. As I indicated before, Graves has the revisions that have come in, and I think those were just delivered last Thursday, I believe. I guess if I don't have a plan in front of me either, and I'm on the phone, so I would say that perhaps that's something that we can make note of that, and then have a response for you when we return next time.
Does anyone else on the board have any comments? Being none, is there anyone from the public that has comments? Being none, I only have one. If you could tell your client that when you come up to the end of that street, when you get to Hampton Street, you can't see to the left because the grass is too high. He needs to cut it down before you have an accident. We've lost him too. Do I have a motion to
Mr. Chairman, this is Robert O'Neill. I'm still on. I will convey that to the applicant.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Do I have a motion to continue this till the September 8th meeting.
John, it's Ronnie Brooks. I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Steve Chambers, I'll second.
All those in favor? Scott Wren?
I'm recused from this matter.
Okay, Ron Brooks?
Aye.
Nicholas Lynch?
Aye.
I take that as an aye. Steve Chambers?
Aye.
Myself, John Regan, aye. It is a vote. It will be continued to September 8th meeting.
Thank you.
We'll move right on to the other business, Adam.
The Packagug Farms.
What's that?
Packagug Farms.
Next up is other business, subdivision modification, Packagug Farms, subdivision 71 Curtis Street. Request for extension, Packagug Farms, subdivision 71 Curtis Street. Is there anyone from Packagug Farms subdivision being represented here?
Yes, I'm present. I'm Rocco Antonelli. Wow.
Can't hear you. At this time, I'd like to request a 5-minute recess, if someone could give me a motion on that, to give this gentleman a chance to get back online.
Scott Wren, so moved.
Is it possible for you to hear me now?
Can hear you now.
There was a tremendous amount of static at that a couple of minutes ago. I apologize. I don't know what that was.
Oh, it's cell phones. I mean, no apology needed.
I'm on a computer. I'm not on a cell phone.
So you're in here asking for an additional extension. You've already had, this will bring you into 7 years total of extensions.
Well, actually, we resubmitted in 2018.
Correct, but I'm talking about overall. You started in 2015.
It's been a long process. We had intended to begin, if it wasn't for the current situation, we were going to get into the ground in the spring. The equipment's actually on the property. Obviously, there were problems given the current pandemic situation.
Has there been any updating to the plans?
No, they haven't changed since you approved them in 2018.
Well, that approval, well, I don't think we ever approved them in 2018. We kept continuing.
No, we had to resubmit. And we had to revise the plans at that point. We did revise the plans in 2018.
June 20th. It's 2 years ago, so it's hard to remember. So you're looking...
I understand.
You're looking for another extension, and I can remember this very vividly, all the comments I had on the plans, and I noticed nothing changed.
I'm sorry, did you say trouble with the plans?
I had a lot of comments. You were very irate when you left the meeting the last time I made the comments. They even offered to sit with you.
I don't know how to respond to that. I thought we complied with everything that you had requested.
No, I mean, just looking at the plans quickly this time, because it's hard to read the half-size plans or quarter-size plans, whatever I have. The existing sewer main manhole that's in Curtis Street, it's showing an existing outside drop. I don't think so. I don't know why you'd have a drop there anyway. You can't put it together. It's only a foot difference in the inverts between coming out of Curtis Ave and coming out of your road and then on Curtis Street. It's only a foot difference. You can't even put the fittings together there to do that. It's got to be the bottom of the manhole. And the other thing I happened to notice tonight was your inverts on your drain, where the 6-inch and 12-inch are the same invert elevation. That's an engineering no-no. It's either crown to crown or the smaller pipe invert to crown. It's never invert to invert.
If there are, I have changed engineering firms from the people who actually designed this. If there are things that you need changed or you are picking up on this time that weren't picked up on the last time, I'd be glad to have the new engineering firm address those things. I fired these people.
Okay.
I'd be happy to do whatever you think should be done. I'm not here to do things incorrectly. I'm not an engineer, but I am a contractor, and I consider myself a pretty good one, and I do not want to do this incorrectly. If you think there's something wrong with these plans, I'd be happy to revise them.
Okay, well, if we extend this, we'll have time to revise them. I'm not going to get into the step-by-step tonight. It would take too long.
Is there, can I ask you a question? As far as your concerns, is there some way that I can get a list of those concerns?
Yeah, I'll have to talk to Adam. I think I left a plan with the former town planner, and whether they kept that on file or not, I don't know.
Through the chair, I think this is limited to the extension at this point. I mean, back in July of 2018, we approved this on a 4-to-1 vote, so we're not really hearing amendments to the plan at this point.
I assume you have to vote on this before you look at the modification?
Yes, we have to vote to extend it.
Okay.
Because you requested a variance. You want to get rid of your granite curbing and go to bituminous curbing. I don't think Bill's going to go along with that. Mr. Coyle, I mean, DPW director.
Actually, in the plans, if you go to sheet 7, he submitted 2 types of curbing. On sheet 4, he calls for the vertical granite curb, and then on sheet 7, he shows a section of the roadway with the Massachusetts DOT bituminous curb. I'm just trying to clarify what's in the plan.
If I remember correctly, Mr. Coyle was here during that meeting, and he was pretty adamant about granite curbing at the opening of the new street that you want to put in.
Oh, no, I'm not concerned. I'm fine with, you're talking about the entrance from Curtis?
Correct.
No, this engineer has specified 2 different types of curb throughout the project. He has got the entire project using vertical curb, vertical granite curb. If you look at sheet 4 and sheet 5, you will see VGC throughout, not just at the opening. I do not have a problem with it at the opening. He's got it throughout the entire subdivision. But he's also got it a concrete bituminous curb in section. I'm just trying to clarify this.
Through the chair, I did speak to Mr. Coyle on this, and your comments are correct. He would prefer the granite curbing at the very minimum by the roadway opening.
At the entrance.
At the entrance.
I don't have a problem with that.
Any comments from the board?
Yep. Mr. Chair. I'd like to know what the plans are with the extension, when we could expect work to actually take place. Is there a timeline, or is this going to be something?
This is a very difficult time in reference to banking and financing and going forward with what's going on with the pandemic. This is an extremely difficult time to give you a timeline. I would like to do that. If it was normal circumstances, I probably could. It's just, this is a difficult time.
Any other comments?
John, this is Ronnie. What do we do with the concerns that you have? Are going to vote to extend it, and it seems as though you've got some concerns that you don't think certain things are right, and we're going to extend it. Should we have them resubmit or come back with a modified plan or a changed plan with all the corrections in it, and then see whether or not we vote to extend it? I'm not sure what to do here.
I don't think I can do that because I was outvoted 4-1.
Through the chair, right now, the only matter is the extension and the modification. We really can't take up anything else.
Correct. Do I have a motion to extend, or are there any other comments from the board? First, I'm sorry. Being none, are there any comments from the public?
Why was the 90-day period missed to extend?
It was right in the middle of the shutdown. When the governor shut the Commonwealth down.
Through the chair, what date was that exactly?
The town clerk received the decision August 15th, 2018, so it would have expired on Saturday.
I think there's some extenuating circumstances here.
Adam, are you, through you, John, Adam, are you saying that this doesn't expire, that the current one doesn't expire till this Sunday?
It expired 2 days ago.
But the request for an extension would have been due 90 days prior to the expiration of this past week.
Oh, so he has to apply 90 days prior to.
Correct.
So it's the pleasure of the board, what they like to do.
Do we have any other comments on whether or not, or any more discussion on the extension that's being requested from the board?
What kind of have you made any progress in terms of securing your bonds for the road, or?
I actually was going to go forward with that. From what I understood from Matthew Benoit, he had actually given me the paperwork in reference to a couple of different methods of doing that. One was, I guess, a lien on the deed. Is that correct?
You need a bond or you need a tri-party agreement, is my understanding. So it'd be, again, financing the bank holding money aside to secure performance of the road completion. I could be wrong. I defer to it.
I was my understanding that you could also lien the property. That was the information I got from the gentleman prior to Adam.
John, it's Ronnie. I don't recall us, that I can recall, I might be wrong, that we did much of that lien, and we either got the tri-party agreement that Scott just mentioned, or the bond, secured the bond.
I'm not arguing for one or the other. I will do whatever has to be done. I was just thought I was under that impression from Mr. Benoit. That's all.
So, would it be my understanding, be correct, that if we give you the 2-year extension, you'll be able to get this done as just stated, instead of a lien, the tri-party agreement?
I think so.
Was that a yes, Mr. Antonelli?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you.
So through the chair, this is Nick. I just want to confirm that this should have been requested prior to May 17th, right? Which is 90 days from this past Saturday, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the board? Being none, are any comments from the public? Being none, I'm looking for a motion either to approve the extension or not approve the extension.
Scott Wren, Mr. Antonelli, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt due to COVID. I think I speak for the rest of the board members, though. We don't like keeping these things open forever. The town hall was open. You did have the opportunity to request these extensions, but I get it with COVID. I understand. I just ask that we get moving on this project. We either move forward or not. But to keep continuing out, I mean, I thought the same way John did, that this is 7 years in the making. So with that, I'll motion to approve the extension.
John, can I ask a question before Scott's motion goes through?
Sure.
Do we have he's looking for a 2-year extension?
Correct.
I mean, can he modify it so that, as Scott just said, we get it done quicker and it doesn't continue on to be only for a year?
Through the chair, this is Nick. I just want to make a comment to doing something like that. If we're looking to make an extension here on something like this, given the current state of what's going on right now, who's to say we're not in the same place 12 months from now, especially if things get shut down again. So I think 2 years is probably required in this, just my opinion, but it's probably required in this type of circumstance. Going shorter might just be setting us up to be in the same place a year from now, or 9 months from now, if you think about it.
It would be a year from now, wouldn't it, Adam, from today's date?
Yeah.
But I imagine if we're at the same spot in a year, if he has to request an extension, it would have to be 90 days out.
So in 9 months, he'd have to request another extension if we only gave him a year.
Correct.
Right.
So,
and I mean, what's the likelihood that we're going to be, our current situation is going to be completely solved by then? So.
you don't know what's going to be solved in 2 years. Nobody knows.
You're right.
I don't want to extend this for a great amount of time. Like Scott said, and I said in the beginning, this has been in the making. This will make it in the making for 7 years. It's been in the making for 5 years already.
If I may say one thing in reference to the comment about 7 years, I was not, I moved to this location a little over a year ago to get this project done. I lived over 2 hours away when this all first started with my partners. It wasn't going anywhere, and that was when I came back in and reapplied to you in 2018, and then I actually moved into the property to try to get this done a year ago. I didn't anticipate, like I said, I have equipment sitting in the back of the property here, and I thought I was going to get started, and then kind of the stuff hit the fan.
The plan date was December 23rd, 2014. Is when it started.
I understand that.
Scott, you made the motion to approve the 2-year extension. Do I have a second?
This is Nick. I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye. Scott Wren?
Aye.
Ron Brooks?
Aye.
Nicholas Lynch?
Aye.
Steve Chambers?
No.
Myself, I abstain.
Okay, so that's approval
Is
for
that
the
approved?
extension.
Okay. So the approval duly noted has passed for the extension for 2 years.
Want to take up the modification?
Yeah, the request for the modification for the Packagug Farm subdivision 71 Curtis Street, Mayhay. Do we have any explanation from Mr. Antonelli, what the modification?
Like I said, both types of curbing were specified in the plans. In plan, on sheet 4 and sheet 5, he denotes vertical granite curb, VGC. But then on sheet 7, on the specification sheet, he, in section, shows bituminous curbing, and in detail 1, and then in detail 12, he shows vertical granite curb. Actually, he shows bituminous curb more times in detail than he shows granite curb. All I'm asking for is, and I understand Mr. Coyle wants it at the entry, which is fine, but can we clarify the use of bituminous curb throughout the remainder of the subdivision?
You said Bill didn't have a problem with that?
No.
The DPW doesn't have a problem with that, so are there any comments from the board regarding this minor change?
Just for clarification, it will be all vertical, right? It's not going to be that Cape Cod berm?
It's whatever Mr. Coyle would like to see. I submitted 3 types.
John, can I ask a question?
Sure.
There's the vertical granite, then there's the Cape Cod berm with the bevel, and then they also make one out of asphalt that's vertical.
Yeah, it's what you normally see on the streets today. Every street that Auburn has redone in the last couple of years has the vertical bituminous. The Cape Cod berm is more like a flat triangle. It needs a little wider berm pad on it.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question, Ron?
So, yes, thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone from the public? There being none, go ahead.
That's minor modification first.
Right.
Motion that's a minor modification first.
Do I have a motion that this is a minor modification?
So moved. Scott Wren.
I have a second.
Steve Chambers, second.
All those in favor? Scott Wren,
Aye.
Ron Brooks,
Aye.
Nicholas Lynch,
Aye.
Steve Chambers,
Aye.
myself, I abstain. It is a vote. Now I have to do a motion to approve it, right? Do I have a motion to approve this minor change?
For clarification, that's for vertical bituminous, correct?
The gentleman
Or is
said
it whatever?
whatever Bill preferred. So I believe Bill prefers the vertical because that's what's going in all the streets we're redoing. That's a guess.
I just remember a lot of drainage concerns we had on the right side of the project if you're looking at the plan, so I think the vertical would help. I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Steve Chambers, second.
All those in favor? Steve Chambers,
Aye.
Nicholas Lynch,
Aye.
Ron Brooks,
Aye.
Scott Wren,
Aye.
myself, I abstain. It is a vote. We're all set with that. You're all set, Mr. Antonelli?
Thank you very much.
We have a discussion, the reserve at Ashworth Hill. Construction cost estimate, Artemis Road.
Yes, I left that on from the last meeting. They were going to come back with a new estimate since they were doing some of the work out there this past month. I don't have a new estimate yet, so I'll just carry this forward either the next meeting or the meeting after. There's no action needed to be taken.
All we have left is the meeting minutes.
Yep.
Do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes as is? From
Scott Wren.
I'm sorry, I need a motion to approve the meeting minutes from meeting at 7/21/2020.
I'll second.
Sorry, didn't understand that.
Scott, did you make the motion?
I made the motion and Ronnie seconded.
Yep.
All those in favor? Steve Chambers,
Aye.
Nicholas Lynch,
Aye.
Ron Brooks,
Aye.
Scott Wren,
Aye.
myself is an aye. It is a vote.
Did you want to mention that other thing? Nick?
Adam has something he wants to bring up and read about Nick.
So, Mr. Lynch was named one of, it was the Business Journal's 40 under 40 the other day. I just thought it'd be nice to mention it. And
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Good job.
there he is.
Thank you. There we go.
Here he is.
Man himself.
Nick, I liked it so much, I actually got the print version too, so I can frame.
I got a couple.
Let's not go there, there's too much information.
Unnecessarily tech savvy, so good stuff. Thank you so much.
I go in for sale if anyone wants it.
All right.
The next meeting is September 8th. Adam?
Yes.
I don't believe there's any business unforeseen by the chair.
Not by me, no.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Make that motion, John.
Well, Steve made the motion. Someone has to second it. You both said I make the motion at the same time. If you want to second it, Ronnie, that would be good.
I'll second it.
All those in favor to adjourn the meeting? Steve Chambers,
Aye.
Nicholas Lynch,
Aye.
Ron Brooks,
Aye.
Scott Wren,
Aye.
myself, John Regan, aye. Meeting adjourned.